Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Alexa. I haven't done a reading video since 2021 and I don't even think I've posted it yet. I've been just reading this month to try and cope with the massive amount of stress that I'm dealing with. I actually only read through audiobook, like I can't read unless someone is like jamming it into my ear. All the noise. So good. So let's talk about the books I read in October, because book talk has been making me itching to talk about book reviews. Yes, we'll start with a book that I finished on September 30th, which was The Honeymoon Crashers. This is the 1.5 to the Unhoneymooners. I actually didn't like the Unhoneymooners. I reviewed it in another video that I haven't posted, so how would you know? But I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina. It was okay. Wasn't my favorite, wasn't terrible. I think what made me buy this book on Audible was that Harry Shum Jr. narrated a character on it. So I was like, okay, I want to listen to Harry Shum Jr. There's no narration. It's like straight up dialogue. It's like a little skit being played out in my ear. There's a set of sisters, Amy and Olive. Olive is going to get married and she refuses to invite any of the family over. One, because Amy's dealing with some tough times. The other is she just doesn't want to hassle everyone. But her whole family's like, no, you're not getting married without us. They crashed the honeymoon and tried to plan a wedding within the weekend, and that's sort of just what this novella skit 1.5 novel is all about. It is opposites attract, control freak and the happy-go-lucky guy fall in love. I don't know if that's a trope. I honestly think I truly read it just so I could up my reading goal quicker so that I actually met it this year. If you need a quick, short audiobook to fill up your day and you're interested in a skit-like novella surrounding wedding planning, here you go. The next book I finished was Beach Read. I used to think that I would never like beach read, and I admitted in one of like my favorites videos, you're either a beach read girl or a people you meet on vacation girl, and I was more of a people you meet on vacation girl. But what happened was there's this TikToker I would always see on my For You page. She would be like rooting for Gus from Beach Read. I actually have it, so I guess I'll hold it now. And it got to a point where that combined with everyone saying Beach Read was a fall read, my brain was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give it a chance again. I read it again this month. This is the third time I freaking read Beach Read, and I devoured it. I ate it up. I understand why everyone loves this book. Gus is great. January and Gus are college rivals, and they run into each other when January moves into this beach house that she inherited from her father after he passed away. The beach house comes with like a dark secret about her dad that she ends up having to deal with. This beach house happens to be situated right next to the house of Gus Everett. They butt heads, they reunite. They are both broke, having writer's block. They both strike up a deal. So Gus will write a book in January's genre, and then January will write a book in Gus's genre, and whoever publishes it and is more successful from the book release, they will win the bet. And of course they have tension. There are like hidden feelings there that no one really knows about, no one really talks about. Yes, it's a romance, but it also borders on women's literature with the amount of introspection and reflection that's going on related to the traumas that both of these characters are experiencing in the book. And I really enjoyed it. It is, I would say, a fall read because of just how dark the themes were. This reread this time this month made me turn my 4-star rating into a 5-star rating. So this is now officially in the 5-star Hall of Fame. I think Emily Henry is fun. She's great. If you didn't know that, get on the bandwagon. The next book I read was The Cheat Sheet. This one was interesting. I gave it a 3-star rating. So I listened to this on audiobook. Anytime I listen to a dual perspective book on audiobook, the girl always sounds like this and she's so happy and cheerful, and the guy sounds like this and he's all raspy and husky, and I can't deal with it. First world problem, I get it. No need to tell me. This book follows Bree and Nathan. Bree owns a dance studio, and then Nathan is this very famous quarterback in the NFL and is super in love with Bree and can't admit it. Everyone but them knows that they like each other. His girlfriends are like, you have to pick, it's me or your best friend. And he's like, I'm choosing my best friend. On one of their nights out partying, something that Bree said about Nathan, it gets like misconstrued. The whole world now thinks that Nathan and Bree are dating. Their publicist basically is just like, you know what? This is gonna be good for your brand. So you two should date
for your brand.
Sometimes when it comes to romance genres, when they try to make the woman character stand out, it's very hit or miss depending on what your taste is. She felt a little too quirky for me. And also this book is about people like in their 30s. Like they are older than me, but sometimes I felt like these people were being more childish than I am. Bree is like so clumsy girl. She's so, oopsie, oh no, I made a big spilly willy. Haley fan thinks this is like a nearly 5-star book, and so does Steph Bohr, and I like always go by the recommendations, but this one didn't land with me. It felt a little too happy. It fell flat. Oh, and you know what? The ending kind of threw me off a little. I thought it was like okay. I thought it was like almost a 4-star book, and then the ending happened, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. Next book I finished was The Fine Print. Steph Bohr recommended, so I was like, yes. I didn't know it at the time, but now I do. I was in the mood for like something more grumpy with darker themes, which is why like beach read hit so well this month. What I describe this book to be is basically mean man falls in love, and then while he's in love, he learns a life lesson that most girls intuitively know at 18. The Fine Print is the start of this 3-part series. So there are 3 brothers. They are the heirs to this place called like Dreamland, and then their grandpa passes away, and in his will leaves little assignments for each son to fulfill. And in this one, there's a guy named Rowan. He is an artist, I think. He draws. He has like this weird jaded past and this weird relationship with art, and he can't do it anymore, although he loves it. He wants to do, but he doesn't. But he wants to, but he doesn't. But he can't. His grandpa's like, you have to join the creator team again as like the director, and then you can have your share of the company. Rowan's like all business. He literally like cut people's healthcare so that the company would make more money. And he meets Zara. She butts heads with Rowan because Rowan's like,
she cares too much about things that don't matter.
As much as I am talking down about this book, I still enjoyed it. It was spicy, it was dark, enemies to lovers, workplace romance, Disney kid, fanfic, I don't know. I almost gave it 5 stars, but the thing about him not thinking workers deserve basic rights was crazy, and it really holds me back from giving it the 5th star. It was exactly what my brain needed in October. I enjoyed it, and I am starting the second one. The next book I read was Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is a sapphic romance. This is actually like the first official like sapphic romance that I've read. This follows Delilah Green, who has this stepsister. Her name's Astrid, and her stepsister's getting married, and she gets hired as the photographer. She has this best friend named Claire. Delilah's had a crush on Claire since she was like a kid. This follows Delilah's relationship as she like navigates this crazy wedding where she has this weird tense relationship with her stepsister and her stepmother. And also her stepsister is marrying some guy that her best friends don't like either, so they're trying to find a way to sabotage that wedding. And while this is all happening, Delilah and Astrid's best friend are forming this sort of fling. I have no like other sapphic romance novels to compare it to, so for me it was fun. It was chaotic. Love a good complex family dynamic. There's some spice in there. Claire has a child, and she also has this complex relationship with her co-parent, and that's like dealt with as well. There's just like a lot of stuff going on in the book, but I enjoyed the sabotagery of it all. I enjoyed the relationships forming between the friends and how, you know, relationships are mended throughout the book. People's perspectives change. Like Delilah's like this jaded, non-committal type of girl, and she turns into this softie throughout the book. I think I gave it a 4 stars, and I'm gonna read the next book as well. There are some books that I'm just in the middle of, and I thought I'd talk about them because I did read them throughout the month. The first book I started but haven't finished yet. I'm 53% done. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. It is such a romp. Yellowface starts out with these 2 friends from college. There's Athena and then there's Juniper. They're both writers. Athena's Asian and she popped off, is a really successful writer, really similar to R.F. Kuang, who is the author of this book. So they're hanging out in Athena's apartment. Athena tragically dies right before everyone comes in to inspect the scene. Juniper steals her fully written, fully finished manuscript of this story about Chinese laborers in World War I. She takes it and she reads through it, and then she starts editing it, and then she starts being like, ooh, well, it's my book now because I changed like any more close essentially to from what it was. Changed certain Asian characters to be like less racist. Made this book. I made these edits, and therefore I'm going to publish it. And then she publishes it, and then chaos ensues. I think it's really fun. It's like watching a reality show. This book is narrated through the eyes of Juniper. It's a lot, and I would have finished this if I had the mental capacity to keep cringing and being gobsmacked, but I cannot handle it. Juniper, she's making me lose my hair. She is. It is crazy how much a book can be like enraging and cringy and thought-provoking. I'll finish this eventually when I am feeling brave. And one book I started, I read like one chapter of it. It is Assistant to the Villain. It was everywhere on my Reels page for like one hot second. And now that I started reading it, I have not seen it anywhere. But basically the premise of the book is this one woman ends up working for the village villain. No one knows who the villain is. Obviously, like, he hides in darkness, but he's wreaking havoc on the village, causing riots, doing crazy stuff allegedly. And then he ends up hiring this girl to be his assistant. And they fall in love. That's the premise. But I was really curious about it, so I picked it up. And now that I've picked it up, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I'll finish it, but I started it. Just want to let you know I'm 5% through. And the last book that I am currently on right now, I'm at like 55% of You Again. It was recommended by Uncarly. Love Uncarly. She's the best. It's a gender bent When Harry Met Sally. Again, it's opposites attract, enemies to lovers. Josh and Ari, they start off on the wrong foot immediately when they meet. Every time they meet, it's just a new fight, and then eventually they end up getting dumped by their respective partners. Now that they're too sad to do anything, they mope around together and they hang out. Of course, if you've seen When Harry Met Sally, like, there comes a point where because they're hanging out so much, their feelings evolve and change into something else, and I'm at the part where their feelings are maybe evolving into something else. If you come into this book thinking it's a romance, I don't think you're gonna enjoy it. If you come into this book just thinking that it's a character-driven story about two messy people, then that is what it is. Right now, I don't know if they should be falling in love with anyone. I think in Uncarly's review, she was like, these people shouldn't be together. I think that's like trained my brain to not picture them together. Maybe it biased me going into the book. I don't consider this a romance. I consider this like character-driven fiction story of two messy people trying to cope with their lives together. Those are now all the books that I read this month. I won't be giving a TBR for November because I don't want anyone to hold me accountable for any book that I say I'm going to read. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you think I should give a story another try. That's everything. Thanks for sitting through this chat. I'll maybe see you in November.